Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second presentation in this parallel session. In this occasion, we would like to present our research on tensions, contradictions, and ambiguities of online learning in the graduate program of English Language Education. My name is Anggi, and I will be presenting with my partners Stella and Mr. Markus Budiraharjo. In this research, we investigated two problems. The first one is what tensions, contradictions, and ambiguities found in the course, especially given the limitations of COVID-19 pandemic. The second one is how did the students cope with a set of tensions, contradictions, and ambiguities found in the course, especially given the limitations of COVID-19 pandemic. In doing this research, we employ chat theory or cultural historical activity theory by Anggi 1987 as our theoretical framework. Originally, chat had come from activity theory by Lltc in the 1930s. Why do we utilize this framework? Because we are interested in understanding and analyzing the relationship between the human mind, or what people think and feel, and activity or what people do. In other words, we intend to draw connections of various events during a certain course. Chat has a couple of principles. 1. All human activities are social in origin. 2. All human activities are mediated by tools. Basically, there are two kinds of tools. First is primary tools such as cell phone, internet connection, computer, gadgets, and paper. Second is secondary tools including language, ideas, thoughts, symbol, and academic literacy skills. 3. Humans act within the frame of social conventions or mediation. Yet the process of defining and redefining meanings throughout all human activities inevitably causes tensions, contradictions, and ambiguities. 4. Role of research by utilizing chat is to describe all the complexities involved in the activity system. Therefore, it should be self-evident that the activity systems refer to the graduate course entitled Curriculum from Planning to Evaluation, which is still underway in this semester from September until December 2020. This is the diamond-shaped picture of chat. As you can see from the picture, it clearly shows how the subjects, in this case are the graduate students, interact with the objects or their own performance and academic engagement. The interactions are mediated by some factors such as tools, rules, community, and division of labor. Mediating tools are symbols, sign, and conceptual understandings that serve as physical and psychological tools, mediating activity between the subject and the object. A community is the social and cultural group that subjects are a part of, with explicit rules or social norms that regulate and influence behavior. The division of labor defines how tasks and responsibilities are shared among the system participants as they engage in an activity. The result of the interactions are the learning outcomes.
Through this slide, I will explain the research methods that will be used in this research. This research applies qualitative approach. The types of data that gathered by the researcher were from LMS that include the lesson plan, midterm course evaluation, and FGD. In this research, the data were collected and analyzed by doing multiple readings of LMS to gain the pattern of how the course were organized, describing the statistic of midterm course evaluation according to thematic issues, and summarizing some thematic issues in FGD minute. Then the subjects and the participants include 4 students and 4 researchers. The students who become the participants are carrying unique identity. The first student becomes a representative of a well-seasoned English teacher. The second student becomes a representative of a master student that has different academic culture. The third student becomes a representative of a master student that has just graduated. And the last is a representative from different background of previous education. The instrument that we use to collect the data, such as the researcher as human research instruments, the Excel data, and the open-ended questions in FGD. Before we jump to a discussion, we would like to explain the findings and the discussion through this table. In identifying the factors that act as the role in mediating the subject with the object, the researchers will explain four main categories of factors. Those factors are tools, rules, community, and division of labor, which latter show the two opposite poles as the result of mediating factors that describes the challenges or source of tensions and potentials or advantage. The first mediating rules is tools. In tools, we divide it into primary tools and secondary tools. The challenges in the primary tools showed a normative data that includes the unsupported devices and limited internet data of the students in online learning process. Then the challenges in secondary tools are the lack of academic skills, which related to the lexical density or the linguistic complexity in written or spoken. And then the concept of certain theory, and then the different epistemology roots, like for example in philosophy we have the concept of see, discern, and act that is not applicable in MPBI. And then the last one is the academic pattern in doing the paper research, which is still not yet accomplished in curriculum class. Besides the challenges that appears in the primary and the secondary tools, the potentials also appear as they mediate the subject toward the object. From the primary tools, we believe that LMS is both interesting and challenging medium to introduce the modular or gamification method in submitting the tasks, to provide the video lectures, and to learn from each other toward written responses in forum. Then the secondary tools also mediate the subjects toward the object, with some advantages in maintaining their mental health, providing more effort in understanding the text by rereading it, forming a draft before submitting the final writing, and applying mnemonic method not only in learning but also teaching outside of the campus. This slide will present the factor that mediate the subject towards the object in terms rules. The challenge that mediates in rules are the finding on a lack of training in high-order thinking skills that causes a huge gap between the previous schooling experience with the current reality. The gap includes the different culture on learning in the undergraduate and then in the master, and the previous background knowledge that also influence the student to view some issues in education. The potentials that we found here are on how students are obligated to utilize the LMS as a source of learning, managing the tasks, actively engage in academic activities, and the last is to carry out the meetings as scheduled.
In the third mediating factor, which is community, we found challenges such as first is communicability. Many explanations and elaborations of ideas which are usually communicable through direct conversations, meetings, or tangible activities become hardly communicable through technologies. However, it is worth noting that the lecturer has anticipated the limitations of communicability. As evident from the LMS, communicability was said to be mediated by utilizing technology and by assigning students to work in groups to develop shared understandings in order for them to learn to teach and to develop video lecture. Second is absence of community support, which resulted to being reluctant in asking for help both to peers and teachers. However, on the other hand, The potentials found in this mediating factor are some students attempt to meet to do shared assignments and also utilize communicative skills to negotiate burden with authorities. Now, we are coming to the last mediating factor, which is division of labor. The challenges found in this factor are: first, there is one student who has multiple roles as a full-time teacher and a graduate student. It was evident from these students' challenges that the student encounters problems in time management and task load. Second is incomplete task definition in terms of graduate reading skills. We found that there is a perception gap in mastering a particular reading. In the graduate program, reading is just one source of knowledge. Graduate students are expected to bring forward their own life experiences as major resource of learning as well. So, instead of just comprehending the text, they are required to critically attend to their own ways of thinking, personal assumptions, and assess distortions of their views. The potentials found in this mediating factor are: first, holding a high degree of commitment to doing the best so as not to take shortcuts. Second, encouraging written rather than oral responses by means that the students invest more time to think. The last one is stimulating students' awareness of their own limitations in order to expand themselves as graduate students in education major to do more through task definitions such as reflections, responses, and discussions.
Finally, we arrive to the conclusions of this presentation. In here, we provide some conclusions. The first one, pandemic era has brought unprecedented challenges for first-year graduate students. There were challenging issues of communicability and isolationism. And then, however, the class was in fact constructed to anticipate such challenges by encouraging students to conduct collaborative learning. So they were assigned to learn the materials in order to teach others. And then by utilizing existing technology as mediating tools, by recording the videos and uploading on the YouTube, so the other students could access and critically review the video lectures. And then the third one, by facilitating students to demonstrate their learning progress, utilizing a modular learning approach. So the students couldn't proceed without gradually completing earlier tasks. This gamification principle was found to be fascinating to graduate students, especially since it provides some structure for them to learn. And then the last one, midterm course feedback from the students largely sent a strong message that the course was run at a superior level. From these mediating factors, we can conclude that the challenges and the potentials mostly are found in tools, because this current online learning system forces the educators integrate the technology and the learning system. So, that's all from our presentation. Thank you for watching.